I'm here in Richmond at the state capitol to follow around Loudoun's representatives to see what a day in their life during a General Assembly session is like.
Hi, this is Senator Kannan Srinivasan. So my typical day, I'm in the General Assembly building. We call it GAB in short. I'm here by 7 o'clock, or maybe sometimes earlier. Today was the Speaker's interfaith program that starts at 7 every week, every Wednesday. So either 7 or before I'm here. And then I have meetings. I prepare for the day. I look at the bills that we need to review today, either on the floor or in committees. And then we take meetings from that time on. There are receptions upstairs by different groups who are able to come, take a conference room. It could be any advocacy groups, it could be school children, it could be, education associations, it could be anybody. So between that time and 11:15, my day is busy meeting either constituents or advocacy groups in my office or somewhere in this building. And then at 11:15, we have caucus every day, the Democratic caucus. I think the Republican caucus meets around 11:30. Between 11:15 and 12, we have caucus meetings where we discuss the upcoming bills on the floor. At 12 noon, both the chambers gavel in. So we are up there. So between that time, we have to get some food in the break room that's behind the chambers. That's why you will see some members, trying to eat and get to their desk. So at 12 noon, we gavel in.
During floor sessions, legislators debate and vote on bills. This is where they have the chance to hear about all the legislation that hasn't come through their specific committees. Bills are read once a day for 3 days and are voted on the third day. Legislators can also speak to other issues of concern, introduce visitors, and adopt ceremonial resolutions.
Speaker, I move adoption of HJ 165 and further move that when we adjourn, we do so in the honor and memory of Richard Thomas Bulliva. Lieutenant Colonel Richard Thomas Bulliva, Dick as he was known to his friends, was an active and beloved member of our Northern Virginia community.
Floor sessions typically last 2 to 3 hours, but can go on for 7 hours or longer when needed.
Then after that, we have committee meetings. Some committees meet 15 minutes after session, some committees meet 30 minutes after session. So you have to finish committee meetings after that.
Each representative is assigned to a committee, typically multiple committees, and then subcommittees of each of those. Much of the work amending bills, taking public testimony, and going back and forth with the bill's patron happened here. Here you see Delegate David Reed chairing a subcommittee of the House's Transportation.
Are there any questions from members of the committee? Any questions? So just to clarify, so this is going to just kind of clarify the code to make it so that the judges all across the Commonwealth will understand that the driver improvement program is an option for this.
A subcommittee can either report a bill, choose not to advance it, amend it, opt not to take it up for consideration, or continue it to next year. If the subcommittee does report a bill, the full committee then goes through the same process. In between attending the committee meetings that they serve on, legislators must also present their bills to other committees, as Delegate John McAuliffe is doing here. Delegate J.J. Singh said that often means a lot of bouncing back and forth between meetings.
If I'm presenting legislation in one subcommittee, but I'm required to be in another committee to hear others' legislation, puts me in a little bit of a bind. And what if other members on that subcommittee on which we serve also have bills up in other committees? How do we manage that process? And the answer is we always have to ensure that we have quorum and that we have enough members to vote. And so we'll be in touch with each other, but it's not always that communicative, because people need to be focused on what's in front of them at that very moment. So the end result means sometimes there's some waiting around because not everybody can be precise about who, what, and where, and it's a little bit inefficient that way, but it's also not outrageous. It's just a part of being down here.
Over 2,300 bills were presented between the House and the Senate this year, which doesn't include hundreds of resolutions or the many budget amendments that are also proposed. Each office keeps track of the bills differently, but it usually requires a team of dedicated staff, early mornings, and late nights. In the evenings, legislators attend receptions hosted by organizations, look to review items on tomorrow's dockets, and manage their personal responsibilities and day jobs.
I love meeting all the constituents that come by and they're asking for help, and I get to work with them and meet them, and there's been some phenomenal people coming by and visiting.
I think the biggest lift this session has been all of the legislation surrounding the data centers. And as you know, it's not just, the power and the power grid and water and pollution and so many bills on so many topics that deal with data centers. And so I think that's been a huge lift as we worked really hard to try to put some guardrails around the industry, to put some regulation around the industry. I know so many people have been so frustrated with the past couple of years, nothing happening, nothing moving forward. I hear it all the time. And leading up to the session, so many people were asking me that question, is anything going to happen this year? Is it going to be different? And I feel like a lot of people felt really defeated about, is this going to be the same? But I think, and I hope what members of the public have seen and what my constituents have seen is that this year has been different. There have been things that have moved across the line, that have continued to move across the line.
The reason this is all worth it, despite the challenges, despite how hard it is I have 2 daughters. They're 5 years old and 7 years old, and I want their future to be brighter than what they have today. I want the future for those kids, my kids, every kid, to be brighter, and that means affordable higher education. We don't have massive transmission lines cutting through their backyards. That they have an economy that works for them, and that we reduce gun violence so they can go to school and we know that they're going to come home safely. And so I think about it through the prism of my kids and why I'm doing this. And the people of Brambleton, Arcola, Aldie, and South Riding sent me here to do a job, no matter how hard that job is. And I volunteered for this. And so I work every morning from 6 a.m. to 11 at night, juggling all those responsibilities, but because I want to do this work, and that's what people sent me to do.
I hope that today's video has helped you have a better understanding of what your state representatives who are elected to serve you spend their time doing, representing you down here in Richmond, and how they're spending your tax dollars. You can always go to loudnow.com to learn more and follow the bills through the rest of session.